Welcome from all of us at He is Risen Ministries. Your support by subscribing and giving a thumbs up helps us keep creating videos that inspire and equip those seeking a deeper walk with the Lord. I'm really glad you're here today. Take a breath. Settle in. This is one of those topics that can feel intimidating at first, but we're going to walk through it slowly, simply, like friends having a thoughtful conversation. Today we're talking about something you've probably heard before, especially if you've spent any time online, in comment sections, in college classrooms, on podcasts, or scrolling late at night. One of the most common arguments used to challenge the Bible, specifically the idea of a young earth, around 6,000 years old. The argument goes like this. The Hebrew word for day in Genesis chapter 1 is the word yom. And critics say yom doesn't have to mean a normal 24-hour day. They say it could mean a long period of time, an age, an era. And if that's true, they say, then Genesis isn't really describing creation in 6 literal days. And if that's not literal, then maybe the Bible isn't as trustworthy as it claims to be. That's the argument, so let's talk about it. Calmly, honestly, without fear. Because truth doesn't need to shout. Truth stands on its own. Let's start at the beginning. Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. That verse sets the tone. God acts, God creates, God speaks. Then we see a pattern unfold over and over again. Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening and there was morning the first day. That phrase matters. Evening, morning, day. Then it happens again and again and again. Genesis chapter 1 verse 8. Evening, morning, second day. Verse 13. Evening, morning, third day. By the time we reach the 6th day, the rhythm is unmistakable. Now here's where the conversation usually turns. People will say, yes, but the word yom can mean more than one thing. And that part is actually true, just like English words. Think about the word day in English. Sometimes we say, back in my day. We don't mean a literal 24-hour period. We mean a general time in our life. But sometimes we say, I'll see you tomorrow. And we absolutely mean a literal day. So context matters, always. And that's where the yom argument starts to fall apart. In Hebrew, when yom is used with a number, first day, second day, third day, and when it's paired with evening and morning, it always refers to a normal, literal day. Not sometimes, not usually, always. This isn't theology, it's grammar. It's how the language worked. Imagine texting a friend. You say, Lud, let's meet on the 3rd day after the sun goes down and before the sun comes up again. No one reading that would think you meant 3,000 years later. They'd think you meant a regular day. That's exactly what Genesis is doing. And there's more. Exodus chapter 20 verse 11. This is huge. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. This verse is part of the 10 Commandments, the reason God gives for the human work week. 6 days of work, 1 day of rest. Here's the key question. If God worked for 6 long ages and then rested for 1 long age, what sense does that make as a model for a human week? It doesn't. God ties his creative work directly to our literal experience of time, our 7-day rhythm. The pattern only works if the days are real days. Now let's bring this down to everyday life. Think about your phone charger. It's designed for a specific voltage. If you plug it into the wrong power source, it doesn't slowly kind of work. It breaks. Design matters. Language works the same way. Genesis isn't poetry. It's not a song. It's not a metaphor-filled vision. It reads like history, straightforward, sequential. And the people who first read it understood it that way. No ancient Hebrew reader thought, oh yes, these are symbolic ages spanning millions of years. That idea is modern, very modern. It shows up after secular timelines became popular, not before. Now let's talk about something else that matters. Genesis chapter 1 isn't alone. Jesus himself refers back to creation. Matthew chapter 19 verse 4. Have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female? At the beginning, not billions of years after the beginning. At the beginning. Luke chapter 11 verse 50. Jesus speaks of the blood of the prophets shed from the foundation of the world. From the foundation, not after endless ages. The New Testament writers clearly understood Genesis as real history, and this brings us to a deeper issue, because the argument about Yom isn't really about a word. It's about authority. Who gets to define reality, scripture, or modern assumptions? Let me give you a modern analogy. Imagine buying a new device. You open the box, there's a manual inside. The creator of the device tells you exactly how it works. Then someone online says, I know the manual says that, but I think it means something else. Who are you going to trust, the designer or the commenter? Genesis is the manual. God tells us what he did, how he did it, and how long it took. And he repeats it, clarifies it, builds patterns around it. Now here's where I want to slow down and speak gently. If you've wrestled with this question, you're not weak, you're not faithless, you're thinking, and that's okay. God is not threatened by honest questions, but we do need to recognize when explanations are being stretched, not because the text demands it, but because external ideas are being forced onto it. That's what happens with the Yom argument. It asks the Bible to bend, instead of letting the Bible speak. In my book, The Bible Fix by Ron Walzer, available on Amazon, I go into much more detail on this subject, including the Hebrew structure, the literary patterns, and the theological implications. But for today, I want you to walk away with clarity, not confusion. Genesis means what it says, 6 days, a real beginning. Now let's talk about why this matters for everyday life, because this isn't just about timelines, it's about trust. If the opening chapters of Scripture are unreliable, then everything built on them becomes shaky. Marriage, work, rest, human value. But if God speaks truthfully at the beginning, then we can trust him all the way through. Think about it like a foundation. If the foundation of a house is solid, you can renovate the rooms, change the furniture, paint the walls. But if the foundation is cracked, nothing else feels safe. Genesis is foundational. And here's something Gen Z understands deeply. Authenticity matters. You can spot fake branding instantly. You know when someone is selling an image instead of truth. The Bible doesn't try to impress. It doesn't over-explain. It simply states, God spoke, and it was so. That kind of confidence doesn't come from myth. It comes from truth. Psalm 33, verse 6. By the word of the Lord, the heavens were made. Verse 9. For he spoke, and it came to be. He commanded, and it stood firm. That's not slow evolution, that's authority. And here's the encouraging part. The same God who spoke light into existence is still speaking today into chaos, into confusion, into your life. If he can order the cosmos in 6 days, he can bring order to your story too. So here's the challenge. Don't let simplified arguments shake deep truths. Ask questions, study carefully, read Scripture as it was written, and trust that God is able to communicate clearly. You don't need to rescue the Bible. It's not fragile. It has endured for thousands of years, across cultures, across languages, across attacks, and it's still standing. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. If God created the world intentionally, on purpose, with structure and order, then your life is not an accident. You are not random. You are not late to the story. You were known, loved, and planned for from the very beginning. Thank you for spending this time with us. It truly means more than you know. Got a question you'd like us to explore in a future video? Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. For now, rest in the knowledge that the one who loved you first has already prepared a place for you in his eternal family, and may his voice ring clearly and powerfully this very day.